What is up, everybody? Welcome back to episode 83 of Think Twice, the magic and pop culture show hosted by me, Justin Parnell, and my co-host, Ali Sleepy Night Aintrazi.
Hello, Justin Parnell and fellow Think Twicers.
Is that what we're going to call them, Think Twicers? No, I'm cool with it.
No, I think Thunk Twice is better. Thunkers. Fellow Thunkers.
Think Twicians?
No, Thunkers. Thunkers sounds better.
You guys let us know. Either way.
I done thunkered.
Either way, so this is the part of the show where I ask Ollie what he did over the last weekend. And usually he's like, I streamed, I went to the gym.
Went to the gym.
Okay.
Played board games.
Okay.
That's it.
Wow. Strong week. I mean, I don't have much in the way of doing anything different. I did play some board games over the weekend too, which is going to be quite a interesting segue into a future segment, which we'll get to later. What?
Without me?
No. You'll be in the segment. You weren't there for the board games, though.
I know. I understand.
You played your own board games.
I see. I don't care, Parnell. You basically cut me out. You didn't have to cut me out and treat me like somebody used to know.
Okay, not bad. Not bad. I was wondering if you were going to pull it off.
That's the part I remember.
So, I mean, that's the part of the song that people remember, right? So that's all good. Yeah. So, Ollie, I called you. You want to let everyone know what the situation is when we're recording this episode?
Oh yes. So just like calls me, and I have the show notes like written out, and at the end we have our topic that for the movie we're supposed to watch, and I have on there "Happy Death Day to You." Just like, oh yeah, I can't wait to watch that. I'm kind of excited to watch that. Yeah, but this is next week's. And then he cuts it and moves it to the for next week. I'm like, wait, that was next week? He's like, yeah. I was like, what's this week? He's like, the one you want us to watch. What's it called again?
Await further instructions.
Yeah, apparently I did not await further instructions.
You did not listen to the name of the title at all.
So yeah, I did not watch Await Further Instructions. Instead, I rushed the movies earlier today, and I watched Happy Death Day to You instead.
The best part is, you literally watched the first showing available of this movie. Like, it came out today, the day that we're recording. Yeah. You literally were like,
dude, I went in the morning
at the theater was like, man, this guy really wanted to see this movie.
Dude, yes.
Released today. The first one in the theater, watching it by himself. Oh man,
that literally happened. How'd you know? I literally went
because you know why I know that? Because no one else watched this movie Wednesday at noon. Okay, you were the only one,
dude. I went
in the world. I think did that.
I went to the first showing. I was the only one in there too. But anyways, regardless.
Oh man.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna move.
So instead, the movie that I watched, which is the movie that all of you guys watched, which is Await Further Instructions, we're not doing that this week. The movie that Ollie watched, which is Happy Death Day to You, we're also not doing that this week. So we're going to do something else this week for pop culture. So next week's topic is going to be Happy Death Day to You, and then the next week after that is when we're going to do Await Further Instructions.
I apologize.
It's okay.
Maggie's mad at me too.
I could tell. Yeah. So that's going to be the topic next week is Happy Death Day to You. And I promise those of you that watched Await Further Instructions, we're going to talk about that for sure, because I watched that and I definitely want to talk about it. I have a lot of thoughts. Okay.
All right, I'll watch it.
Okay. You're going to watch it, but we're not going to talk about it next week, just to be clear. It's Happy Death Day to You.
Yeah.
In our show notes, we have it in big, bold, yellow letters.
Yeah. I forget. I just forget. I have narcolepsy. It affects my memory sometimes, where in weird ways. So I just literally blanked on it. I even went on the show notes and scrolled down and looked at it, and then for some reason just saw Happy Death Day and did not see.
I want to watch that one. That's it.
I don't know. I don't even know. So I apologize to everyone that this inconvenience. I know we're laughing and this kind of thing is kind of funny, but I am sorry if somebody is upset. I'm sorry regardless, but I will watch it and we will talk about it. So yeah,
we'll get it. We're not going to let you down any more than we already have. All right. So we had a question of the week last week, which is, if you were having a meal on Ravnica, which guild would prepare the best 3-course meal? I, of course, said the Orzhov. Ollie said Simic. And results say 60% of you agreed with me that the Orzhov guild would obviously create the best 3-course meal.
Yeah, after you called them fat, I agree with you. You're like, yeah, they're all low. What's the better word for fat?
Obese.
No. One that sounds like rich. Oh, I don't know. Something's opulent.
Opulent and decadent.
There you go. Yeah, that's basically like fancy words for. It sounds better than calling somebody fat.
Well, that's not. Those don't necessarily mean fat. They mean opulent is like fancy. Decadent's also kind of fancy.
I used to be super fancy.
You were opulent?
Yeah, I was opulent.
That opulent time in your life?
Yeah, I was big. I ate a lot of food.
It's again, not what opulent means, just to clarify. 26% of people agreed with Simic. 14% said other. Most of those said Selesnya. I feel like every time we do one of these,
people just love Selesnya, man.
Yeah,
it's fake.
Like every single time the other's like, well, hold on now. What about Selesnya? Do you guys think of that?
Selesnya is just like, it's like bread. It's like just everyone's gonna say it because it's bread, you know?
Yeah,
it's just
everyone likes bread, of course, but
yeah, but it's not the best. Actually, bread's pretty good, but
bread's pretty good.
Yeah.
As you can see how Ollie really feels about bread.
Yeah, so maybe we're wrong. Maybe Selesnya is just the best.
I
don't know.
All right. We want to thank everyone that's listening on one of our platforms, SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play Music, Stitcher, and Spotify. Thank you guys very much. Leave us a share, a like, a comment, a subscribe if you can. And of course, if you want to support the show, go to patreon.com/thinktwice.mtg. Speaking of Patreon, there's still a small number of you that I need to send rewards to because I do not have your address. At some point, I'll probably be trying to individually message people because some of these have been outstanding for a while. But everyone else, if you are owed rewards from Patreon, you will have them about the time. All the international people in the United States will have them by the time you listen to this. Everyone else that it's outside the United States will take a little bit of time because the United States Postal Service is not our strong suit over here. But all right, Ollie, are you ready to jump into our first segment?
I am ready.
Great. All right. A lot of changes happened on MTG Arena recently, so we're going to take a quick break. When we return, we're going to dive into those and ruthlessly pick them apart. Ollie, so there were a lot of changes.
Changes.
Okay. There are a lot of
Keep going.
There were a lot of. Did you like how I came in with the refrain there?
I did. It was good. But you stopped too soon. All right.
There were a lot of changes that happened on MTG Arena, both a couple of weeks ago with some of the things in the economy, and then yesterday, or in the future for us tomorrow, or a couple days ago, depending on when you're listening to this, that also happened in the State of the Beta update for February. So, where do you want to start? I guess we'll start at the ones that happened a few weeks ago.
Let's do it.
Okay, this is actually a pretty big change, and this is they've added what they're referring to as duplicate protection to all card packs on Arena. And duplicate protection refers to if you were to open a booster pack and you have 4 copies of whatever rare or mythic rare would be present in the rare slot, instead you get another rare or mythic rare in the set that you don't have 4 copies of. So you basically never get tased by opening the 5th copy of something unless you have every single rare or mythic in the set. And in that case, you get 20 gems for a rare and 40 gems for a mythic rare, which overall I actually think is pretty good. I actually think this is a solid solution to this massive problem that they have.
That's a 10 out of 10 for me, John.
I mean, in seriousness, I imagine it's got to be for you, right? Because you've opened a lot of packs.
I'm opening gyms now.
That's not a bad thing, though.
Yeah, I'm opening Jimmy Thornton, opening Jim Davis, I'm opening Jim Tequila, I'm opening Jimmy Jim, and Jimmy Johns.
Wow,
I've opened all the gyms.
That's a lot of gyms.
It is a lot of gyms.
It's more gyms than I would have been able to think of.
And they're all duplicated, They're all duplicated, protected.
Have you? Okay, so that's for like Guilds of Ravnica and Ravnica Allegiance, essentially.
I can't tell because it's usually getting like 7 wins on constructed.
Oh, there's like, yeah. You just don't know.
I don't know if they are. I just know they flip over and it's gyms.
Okay. So yeah, so it's probably a I imagine like a Guilds of Ravnica card because that's what you have the most of, right? I have to imagine it's Guilds of Ravnica.
Probably, yeah. Has to be Guilds of Ravnica.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but it could be anything.
That's true. Could be anything. So I actually think so. Obviously, I'm on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/thinktwicemtg. I am working on a free-to-play series called Journey of Discovery. So this is actually a good change for me too, because even though there were a couple of things that they changed in the economy, which we'll get to in a second, that hurt free-to-play, I think overall this is a positive in the long term. Like in the short term.
So what you're telling me is the way you play is not opulent or decadent.
No, it's quite the opposite. Actually, it's very peasantish.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Next time I see you, I'll make sure to look down down to you.
Yeah, really. Just you don't really have. It's not if you can really just turn your nose up and then kind of look down past your nose. That'll do
All
it.
Right. I'll make sure.
And maybe just turn it to the side slightly. Just just ever so slightly.
And then lower my glasses to like the tip of my nose.
Yes.
There we go.
Exactly. Yeah, you got it. You're getting good at this.
Thank you.
Going back to your decadent days, I see that
I've mastered the ways.
Some of your lessons. Yeah. But in addition to duplicate protection, to balance this, what they did was they took away some of the the ability to get rare cards from individual card rewards in constructed events and move those up to higher wins, which of course people are like, well, if you average around 50%, then that's a lot harder to get. Yes, that's true. So that means ultimately you're going to get less rares, but the fact that you can freely craft things and you can freely craft a 4 of in a set that just came out without having to worry about getting tased, because the absolute worst feeling in the entire arena experience is having 4 of something and then opening the 5th copy and seeing it gray. That hurts when you pay money, and that is brutal when you're not.
Yeah. Because
wildcard resources are so valuable that you can't get into a situation. Like, I told people for the longest time on the show, like, hey, unless you have to absolutely have 4 of something for a deck, like it's the most important card in the deck by a lot, just craft 3, because it's not worth crafting 4 and then opening a 4th copy. You lose so much value. And now you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's like
I'm all in.
Yeah. Or even future set, you're like, hey, I want 4 of these, the new Hydroid Crisis. You're like, all right, I'm gonna craft 4 of these. Then you're good. You won't open another one for
ever.
The rest ever again. Yes, that's nice.
Yeah, the first thing I did for Ravnica Allegiance, the first card I crafted 4 of was Hero Precinct 1, because I'm like, this is a card I'm just gonna play a lot of decks. And previously I was like, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to craft these day 1, because if I like, I'm gonna open this set for 3 months, and if I open another one, it's just like, all right, it's good, just gone.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. So, like, ultimately, this is one of the things they had to fix for this game to be a real game.
Yeah, I think they fixed it.
I think they did too.
Done really well. Too.
It's honestly like, yeah, is it perfect for everyone? No, but like the Wizards doesn't get to make money somehow. Okay, like I'm not under the impression that everything they need to do should cater completely to the players, because when you have that, that's when that's how games die, is if they don't make money. So I'm okay with the small adjustment they made to the individual card rewards to add this duplicate protection. Big deal. All right.
Yeah.
Next up, these are the
big
things
one.
that are just going in. What now?
Yeah, Next up is a big one.
This is big for you.
Yeah, direct challenge best of 3. You get to. This is great for, challenging friends. Obviously, in best of 3 matches, but it's also fantastic for tournament play. Tournament. Wow.
Yep. Tournament.
Yeah, what's wrong with me? Anyways, I am invited to the Twitch Rivals event on February 20th, and that's gonna be fantastic there because I can challenge people in best of 3 instead of having to challenge them best of 1 and then coin flip to see who wins or back and forth. It looks tacky and sloppy. And also best of 3 does not have the 2-hand algorithm that gives you like the better hand, which I think benefits these aggressive decks a little too much in best of 1. So I think it's a nice change of pace for best of 3 to have just have that for in general, and also have it for competitive play.
Oh yeah, I mean this was the most critical thing to having tournaments on this software. Like they ran a couple without having the best direct challenge best of 3, but there no official tournaments could have ever been run without this. Like it's just not tenable.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
But by the way, another plug. I am playing in the Twitch Rivals. It's February 20th at 1 p.m. EST. Make sure you watch me at twitch.tv/Ali Aintrazi.
And of course, if you're on for some reason, if you're on the Thinktwice Twitch page, Ali will be hosted on that. And this is next Wednesday. All right. Mark it on your calendars, February 20th, next Wednesday, especially at night, because this is a cut to top 8 tournament. So you want to catch Ali on the top 8 when he's in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, but this is fantastic. The direct challenge. They also have a direct challenge best of 3. We can like pick who's on the play right away.
Yep.
That's great for like seeding for top 8. So
yep, exactly. So you don't have to, because otherwise you would have to even direct challenge and then concede and restart if it coin flipped. And this way you can just pick.
Yeah, they were ahead of the game already. So that's nice.
Yeah,
that's nice.
All right, this is another great one. Is in lieu of having a friends list online now on MTG Arena, you're going to be able to connect Arena with Discord, which actually all you have to do is just go to Discord and just turn on, essentially let people view the game that you're playing, and then people on your friends list or in a channel that you're in can challenge you from that to play Arena, which is super duper easy. All you do literally is click their name and then you just click challenge.
Yeah, that way if you
this is through Discord. All you have to do is have Arena up.
Yeah, it's great. I think it's fantastic. It's not better than I think having an actual friend list, but it is a fantastic start. It's better than nothing, and I hope this is the first steps to a personal friend list in the actual client, which I think it is. Oh no, then they've said that that's something that they're going to do. I think this was something they realized they could implement with almost like no like technology on their side. That this was the Discord was already set up for this. They're like, this, we can put minimal effort in this and just roll this out. And I think this is a really good stopgap for that. Because a lot of people use Discord. We use Discord. Obviously, if you are, I think, Trice patron, you use Discord. So yeah, or patron of any other thing. I'm sure you use Discord as well. So
yeah, Discord's great. That's what Ali and I are talking on right now to record this podcast. So
yep.
All right. This is another good one. They're really all good, and that is the ability to sort decks by standard, pauper, singleton, and presumably anything in the future. Yes, the one thing I like about this is, I mean, I like it, but I want more. I wish I could have like a folder or like basically like have like one big deck where I can put all my decks in, because I'd love to separate them between like brews, control, mid range, and aggro. Because currently I have like just a bunch of decks. They're all standard. I play a lot of decks because I like to try different decks. I get deck submissions, and I would love to just like be able to sort all those into like, again, like my decks I'm testing, brews I'm testing, completed brews, or even like mid range, control, aggro, or even deck donations. Yeah, that would be fantastic. I would love that. One thing is a small thing that they just threw in there as a one line. starting with this update, the decks won't resort themselves either.
Thank God.
Yeah, that was a bug. That was not intentional, but that's being fixed.
I always like I'll be looking through the deck back and forth, scrolling up and down like 3-4 times. I feel so old. And chat's like second row, third deck. I'm like, all right, thanks, chat.
yeah. So that's gonna stop. That won't happen anymore.
Yeah,
that was a bug. That was like an algorithm based bug but that won't happen anymore. There's also going to be an improved crafting mode, or an improved like in the deck mode. One where you can do crafting, where you can actually make a deck if you don't have all the cards, and you can actually just add the cards to the deck, and then you can craft them later. That's really great. And apparently there's also going to be improving the way that you can, like, you're going to be able to see more cards on the screen, and be able to customize the views a little bit more.
Bigger is better. That's what I've heard.
That's
bigger view.
Yep. And then the last two are quality of life improvements. The first one is really easy. You're just going to be able to select attackers and blockers. So I imagine it's just going to be kind of a drag and drop mouse over. But for people that play with creatures like myself, it won't help. That one doesn't help Ollie as much as it helps me, but the second one, I personally believe in my heart they made for Ollie based on watching his streams. I'm serious.
I believe you. I mean, this next one is the Resolve All button,
aka the Ollie button,
the Smothering Tide Emergency Powers button.
Yes.
Basically, when you have a huge stack of like making treasures or whatever, being able to hit this and just make everything just like happen is going to be fantastic. Otherwise, it times me out, it times my opponent out. We both lose, or I lose. There's clips of both. There's clips of both of us exploding. Literally both of us explode because I put too many triggers on the stack. And there's another one where the game like turns like black, and it says has like a bunch of code, and then it says you lose.
That's your favorite. That's your favorite one. It's like, congratulations, you broke it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think this is a fantastic button. I like that's called the. I wish it was called the Ollie button. Just like
I'm gonna call it that. We're gonna. Yeah. I'm gonna get that going. Okay. Once people start implementing that, I'm gonna try to get the Ollie button to catch on. It's
nice too for if you have like a bunch of EO2 triggers or whatever.
See, you're thinking of a whole different. Like, I'm just like, yeah. I just want to say okay to Johnny's Primate a bunch of times.
Oh yeah, no. I also want a button that says like, literally this like passes all priorities. Like, the one thing I hope they addressed, or maybe can address, is I don't want to click when Nexus of Fate shovels back into my opponent's library. If I'm passing all priority, I don't care. I don't want to see anything. I want to go get a coffee or a snack while they're comboing off. Yeah. Like, I really need that, because having auto pass and then me having to still click the space bar while they're showing me the Nexus Fate go back into their deck. I don't need to see. I don't need to see that.
I know I got time for that.
Yeah.
Except for those people that are looping Nexus Fate.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of, honestly, it's a lot of great changes to Arena in a short period of time.
Absolutely, I agree.
And I think this is in a month span. This is the most positive changes they've made in a single month in the entirety of existence of Arena.
Yeah, I agree with you. Awesome. It's all very fast and sweet. And then we also have the singleton event this weekend, where you can get an alternate art Duress, which is fantastic. Or if you win, you get 5 wins, you get alternate art Galta Primal Hunger.
Yeah,
which is also sweet. So
yeah,
I'm glad Singleton set up Pauper, because Pauper right now,
I did not enjoy Pauper last weekend.
Me either. It's just so narrow. It's just the pool's like not big enough yet. Not enough sets. So yeah.
All right, cool. That's a lot of arena changes. Ali and I both think that they're great. So, obviously, jump into Arena. If for some reason you listen to this podcast and you're still not playing Arena, this is a good time to still get in. Like, it's
still early. Get in.
Yeah, it's still early. They are improving it. Like, I have been a big, I don't want to say a complainer, but I've been someone that's been very critical specifically of some of the economy and notably the fifth card problem, and the duplicate protection is massive.
Yeah,
like
it's fantastic. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, like I cannot express how huge that is. I've said that I will not pay money to play this game until they fix two things. One is addressing the fifth card problem. They've done that. And I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied with how they've done that. So I check that off. Two is what happens to my cards rotation. They have not said that yet. They still have a little bit of time. I was saying I was giving them 6 months out before I felt like this was a problem. 6 months out would be April. So we still got a couple of months. And I mean, obviously that's something they're working on. So if I get to April and it's solved then I'll be like, great. I feel confident enough to spend money on this game that it's in a place that I want to put my money, and it's getting close. It's getting a lot closer. They've done a good job. Hats off to them. Obviously, and just to clarify, Ollie and I obviously make a lot of Magic content. We're not sponsored by Wizards, okay? This is just our opinion. Like we're not just saying something is good because we're being told to. We actually believe this.
Yeah, and I think the duplicate protection is like the biggest thing, and it's been absolutely fantastic. There's some people out there that are talking about dusting and stuff. It's done. Okay,
it's not going to happen. So we might as well just move on from that. Yeah.
Yes, and I think this is actually better. I like this a lot.
I do too. All right. Ollie, any other I guess any other thoughts on Arena? We're going to talk about Arena next week, but it's not going to be. It's going to be more card wise than feature wise. So, anything else on features for Arena?
Nope, that's it for me.
All right, cool. All right. In that case, we're going to take a quick break. When we return, Magic Story returns with the principles of Unnatural.
Obviously, nature did not do well with Justin Parnell. He has not evolved well or adapted well, because this story is called The Principles of Unnatural Selection, not just unnatural.
I thought I was okay. Like, man, I thought it was just some weird Simic thing. I just didn't read the last word instead.
Yeah, it's all right. I forgive you. This story was actually pretty interesting because it showed us a dynamic of Simic that I didn't really know about, which is adaptation versus mutation.
Yes.
Where you can adapt, which is like basically you yourself grow and adapt to your surroundings, or you can mutate and basically like force yourself to adapt or force yourself to become stronger, better, but you don't do it naturally. And obviously, I mean, I am all for the I don't like the adapt mechanic, but I am all for the adapt versus mutation.
You heard it here first. Ollie for adapt as a
over mutation. Just because I believe if you earn your strength or your power, you will have better control over it and know how to better wield it. I think that's true for different areas.
That's true for everything in life. Yeah.
Yep. So that's my thing. But anyways, this is what the story is about. We start off with a teacher who is basically an adaptation teacher teaching their kids. They only have 8 members in it, and the members keep decreasing every year in favor of mutation classes. Basically, he's teaching the students. He takes them to the deep waters. He shows them a crisis. They see a crisis there. They find a boat. There's a ghost inside the boat. They decide to help the ghost. The ghost says they're traveling in their seas and sunk by pirates. They're lying. They actually stole Momo Vake's key ruin. And when they find that out, they fight off the Orzhov ghost, take the key ruin, go to the surface. They go to the Guardian place. While they're there, they're getting praise. And one of the students that's like kind of mischievous and funny, his name is Miko. He knocks over one of the pieces that that has like the blob mutation stuff in it, and it falls onto the teacher that is about adaptation, not mutation. It falls onto him, and all of a sudden he's forced to mutate. Like the blob like forces his genes to mutate, and he like gets like a bunch of tentacles and eyes. And then the people there, the preteens, the protectors there, want to fight the teacher and the students for breaking what they broke. They fight them off and win. The students win, rather. And after that, they go back to the ocean or the wherever they are, and they find out that so half of the mutation classes, they had like about 24 students. They passed their clutch exams or clutch placement exams. So like 12 passed, and then all of the students from the adaptations passed except one, which was Miko. He's like the troublemaker, and Kazira, who was like nephew of Zagana, and she didn't pass only because she's going to the Zonauts study. She basically had like this robe or thing that said, "Hey, I'm gonna go here instead." So basically, all the students passed except one. And at the end, you see the adaptation teacher and the mutation teacher both like recognizing each other and be like, "Hey, next year, let's team up together and just teach one big class." I think we can do that, and that just proves they adapted, overcame, and bonded. Boom, Simic.
Boom, Simic. All right. A couple of points, as usual. One, I really liked that early in the story that they had an aside in the story that actually told you what a Zonaut was specifically. Like a definition. And it says, a Zonaut is a huge sinkhole that leads all the way down to Ravnican oceans, and each serves a distinct Simic habitat, sort of an oversized inverted skyscraper. Each Zonaut has a different culture, ecosystem, and racial distribution, as well as a speaker. That to me was like...
huge.
Yeah, that was like, honestly, like, oh, wow, that makes perfect sense. Thank you for taking this time outside of the story to tell me what this is, because you don't read that until you see it the first time in a paragraph, and you're like, what is this? And it's like, oh, it actually just tells you as an aside from the story, and that's fantastic. Just do that more, okay? Whoever made that decision, do that all the time. Yeah. Like, there's no reason not to.
Yeah. This story just made me look at Simic in a different lens almost. Like, man, there's a lot more going on than I thought. It's like... Yeah. So basically, I guess Prime Speaker Zagana, or not Prime Speaker Zagana, Utopian Speaker, I imagine is one leader of one of the Zonauts. And then we have Prime Speaker Vanifar. And it's crazy because you see the difference now. Like Prime Speaker or Zagana is about adaptation and her card
mutation,
and her card itself adapts. Right. Then Prime Speaker Vanifar has like elf, lizard, wizard, ooze, snake, whatever, and she forces people to mutate, quote unquote mutate, by like sacrificing them, and then you get a creature like that's bigger, basically like birthing pod, and that's like.
The flavor. The
flavor just sinks in. Yeah. I think this story had the most flavor as far as like card and story wise, and as far as like the Zonauts, it was just all pretty cool.
Yeah. Like so honestly, like I'm trying to phrase this. I was impressed by throughout the story the amount that we learned about the Simic democracy and how their kind of like governing bodies work, and I just thought that was super interesting.
Dude, I think this actually enjoyed the story, and like I think if I went back and reread it, I would learn more.
I think this is, and this is literally no pun intended. I think this was the deepest story. It gave me the truest sense of the entire world while still following like a singular character.
Yeah, this has been my favorite story of the cycle, and I'm not sure. I'm glad you said that too, because I wasn't sure because of a Simic, maybe like a little more, but it just felt more knowledgeable about.
Oh, for sure.
I feel like I learned a lot more, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
I definitely did. Yeah. I mean, like, just go, like, I mean, they give you a good idea of, like, how you can, like, challenge to be a prime speaker, kind of, or a speaker, like a Zonot speaker, basically like a leader. And I don't know. I really liked it. Actually, like, this was more of a, I enjoyed the story more than I had fun reading the story, because there's definitely stories that I've had more fun reading than this one.
Yeah.
But I was just like, I appreciated the amount of detail that was taken to form a cohesive narrative, as well as like a lot of information.
Yeah. And my favorite thing was just seeing the difference between like adaptation and mutation. That was like just super cool. Then explain how the Krasai came to be. They were made, but people didn't realize they're going to be like this smart or this powerful or this strong, and now they basically swam out into the ocean and made their own life. That's pretty crazy.
Do you think the Krasis is the Hydroid Krasis they were talking about?
I think it's probably a difference between Krasis and then a Hydroid Krasis. There's probably a difference between both of them. Because the way the first one was explained was
part shark, part crab, all teeth and claws.
Exactly, yeah. So I don't think it was the Hydra one. I think it was just the Krasis. I think it was just a Krasis.
A Krasis which can be about anything. It seems like.
Yeah. Still super sweet though.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean I actually did enjoy the story. Although, all right, here's one little thing that irked me. You didn't have, like, I even talked about last week. I was like, oh, I've really enjoyed all of the, like, hand-drawn drawings of all of the narrators. And this is the first story that didn't have it.
Yeah.
Like, I looked for it. After I finished reading, I was like, did I just miss it? And I scrolled back through. Nope. Just not there.
Yeah, I would love to see a before and after one, too. Because in the story, too, he's, like, talking about how the teacher has a hard time keeping an eye on all the kids.
Yeah.
And that, 8 is a good number that he keeps an eye on. And then after he's forced to mutate with the ooze, he gets more eyes and can see all the students, he can see everything, basically.
Yeah, it literally gets more eyes to keep eyes on people.
And that makes me wonder, does the ooze like know deeply what you want, or how you want to adapt, or like what you like, want to be stronger, smarter, faster, and then like adjust to that? Or did the teacher just get lucky? So, because he even said, like, I did not want to mutate, but if I'm going to mutate, I'm glad this was the one it is, because now I can keep my eye on everything. I can see everything.
That's a good question. Because, like, I'm tempted to say, no, it's clearly just random, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's obviously too hard to say, and it's not explained, but that is something I'm curious about, because that's kind of cool. So.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Sorting Hat, Harry Potter.
Yeah. Speaking of Sorting Hat, what house are you in? Side quest.
Oh, I'm Slytherin.
You taking the test?
Dude, I've not only have I taken the Pottermore test 3 separate times, I've taken a bunch of random non-Pottermore tests, and I'm always Slytherin. 100% of the time Slytherin. What do you go? But you're Ravenclaw, but
what? How are you not Ravenclaw?
Well, what are you?
I am Ravenclaw.
Oh, yeah. Well, of course you are.
What do you mean? How'd you know that? How'd you guess Ravenclaw?
I didn't guess. Of course I know Ravenclaw. Dude. Like, okay, so I would consider myself a Harry Potter fan. Not like a mega fan, but in the upper tiers of fandom. So one of the things that I enjoy doing is trying to guess people's houses. I'm pretty good at it. You're totally away with Ravenclaw, though.
I thought it'd be Hufflepuff, but I'm not.
Nah.
Do you know what my second was after Ravenclaw?
Gryffindor.
No.
Slytherin.
Yeah, it was Slytherin.
Yeah. You're definitely not Hufflepuff.
No, I'm not. It's like my last.
Yeah.
It's
You're
it's
like the
least-
farthest away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're definitely Ravenclaw though.
Yeah, they called it Slitherclaw. A mix of Slytherin and Ravenclaw. But definitely Ravenclaw first.
That's what Meredith claims to be, because so Meredith wants to be a Ravenclaw. She's always wanted to be a Ravenclaw, but she's actually a Slytherin.
Okay.
So she tries to call herself a Ravenclaw, but she's finally accepting that she's actually just a Slytherin.
I mean, I want to be Slytherin, but what like
You're
I
definitely
even
Ravenclaw
picked.
though.
I mean, there was options where it's like, what do you value most? Love, power, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, power, always power, more stronger, smarter, power, like, because I do value that. Like, I do value that more, especially after my life experiences.
Yeah.
But still, I've taken it like 3 different times, three different tests.
Yeah.
I'm still always Ravenclaw.
You're because you're so
Even with picking like what I think are Slytherin answers to like the power thing or where you swing. Yeah. Overall, it's still Ravenclaw.
You're definitely Ravenclaw for sure. You value knowledge too much,
too highly.
Not too much. Like not that that's a bad thing, but ultimately, like that's like the overarching thing is you value knowledge and seeking knowledge and finding answers to things.
Yeah,
and that's the big Ravenclaw hallmark. Like above a lot of other things, so.
And you're saying that I do that in real life?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So what does Slytherin
certainly like that in Magic?
So what does Slytherin do?
What does Slytherin do? Slytherin, I think
what's their hallmark?
Their three main things are, cunning, ambition, and I was gonna say, like drive, but that's more ambition, and kind of like I guess stern leadership for Slytherin.
Are they self-serving?
I mean, sometimes, but not. That's not. A lot of other houses like to look at Slytherins as though they're self-serving.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, like Harry Potter, the books or movies paint Slytherin in a bad light. But I know that's obviously not the case unless you're like, don't have all the information.
Slytherins often believe they take on a leadership role, because they feel like they have to make the tough decisions that other people are unwilling to make, which is often kind of looked at as maybe more self-serving than it ends up being with full information. I would love to have a whole segment on this, by the way. As much as I enjoy having like talking about like which guild people would be in, like we did before with fictional characters. Harry Potter houses are also really like super, super interesting to go into, but that can be a different segment.
Yeah, I think it's a fine side quest or side note, whatever you want to call it. I think it's fine here. People, I'm sure, enjoy it too. So nice.
It fits. I mean, it's not magic, but it still fits in. And I think Harry Potter houses are the closest analog to the guilds, which is a good representation for Magic players. So,
which is crazy because there's like a ton of guilds and there's only four houses.
Yeah, there's American houses, but they're not as fleshed out as the Hogwarts houses.
What's the difference between Hogwarts and American houses?
Well, there's an American wizard school.
Oh.
In Harry Potter also.
Gotcha.
But that's a whole different. That's. I don't think that's as Anyway, that's a whole. We can dive into that later, but
yeah.
All right. So for the principles of unnatural selection. Just kidding. I didn't forget that time. Is there anything else? I guess we both like this story. I more appreciated it than I liked it, but I think that's good too.
Yeah. I like now. I want to know about Prime Speaker Benefar and her origins and why she chose mutation and why like now I'm just curious about her story. So that's it. But yeah, I enjoyed the story. It was very eye opening. A lot of information, which I enjoyed, and there's information that made you ask more questions, which I also enjoy. So yeah, fantastic. I liked it. That's it. But that's all I got
Yeah,
for the
it's a good
story.
one. I think we are getting Orzhov. We're getting Orzhov next week.
Yeah, your guild.
Oh, I like Orzhov. I like the Black Guilds. I won't lie.
Yeah, but Orzhov is you. That's your guild.
I mean, in reality, as far as like guild test, I'm Azorius, but
Yeah,
So that's the last
but you like Orzhov. It's weird because like I feel like we've already been to Orzhov. That was just like that was the Selesnya one, but I feel like Orzhov was
Yeah.
a huge part in Selesnya. So we'll see.
yeah. Yeah,
I'm
Orzhov's
just-
been in a couple different ones.
Yeah,
Got their fingers and everything. I guess that's kind of the point, right?
even in Simic. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. All right. In that case, we are going to be moving on to our pop culture segment, which is not the movie we thought we were told you about last week, but we talked about that at the top of the hour. So we will be back in just a moment to talk about board games that we have played recently. All right, Ali. So since instead of watching the movie that you're supposed to watch last week, you spent your
Yeah.
time playing board games, I guess
did.
we can talk about board games.
All right, let's do that.
Okay, so we have a handful of board games that you've played, that I've played, and that Director Chase played. So we'll kind of just go through those, and you know, you can go, I'll go, and then we'll try to go through his.
Okay. I played the most recent one I played that was like complex was Betrayal at House on the Hill.
Yeah, the
Or
name is a
Hill.
mouthful.
Yeah. The game's also pretty crazy, but I only played it once, but it was interesting because basically you choose a character, you have like speed, intellect, strength, or movement, and then every turn you move your character to a new place, a different place in the house. You discover the house, and like you flip cards depending on where you move. And like if you reveal an omen, you basically have to roll a die, and the die has to be higher than the number of omens in play. And if it is, then like the curse doesn't start. Then basically you just get whatever the omen reward is. But if you roll lower, you become possessed, and then you have whatever items you have with you, or omens you have with you, become like your part of your power, and you get like you're basically against the entire
Rest of the
other
party.
party. Yeah, so
Yeah.
you basically have to like take part of the book, go aside, read what you can do, and how you're trying to kill the party. Come back, try to kill the party, and then we read a part about you where we have to stop you, and what we can do. And it was kind of cool because what happened was the party member became basically they made voodoo dolls of us, and
I've done this one.
they kept rolling dice for me. I didn't know what they were rolling dice for, what the dice was for.
Yeah, because they don't have to tell you until something happens.
Yeah, right. And they had like a ruler, and they kept moving the ruler by one and rolling dice, and I know what was happening. Luckily, they didn't kill me, but after we beat them, they're like, I was always one number off from just instantly dying with their dice, which is crazy.
Betrayal is such a great game, and I've played this game probably about 10 times. And it's great storytelling along with solid game mechanics, and this game has a significant amount of replay value because once you get when the game changes, so everyone starts on the same team like Alex said, but then when you get to what is called the haunt is when based on things that have happened in the game so far, it triggers it's almost random or kind of a maybe not random, actually like predestined based on the item and the omens that have happened part of the story, and then that's when whoever triggered it takes that, and then the game changes, and you never know how it's going to change. Like you could unleash like a zombie horde, you could be like people could be becoming vampires, the house could start like
Attacking you.
attacking you, like everything. There's so many things, and not 100% of the time does someone turn on the other team. Doesn't always happen. It just frequently does.
That's cool. Yeah, I only played it one time, unfortunately, but it was super fun. And the first time was a lot because I was just taking a lot. Like it was just like hard to follow everything. But afterwards, I was like, okay, I'm ready for round 2.
Yeah.
But everyone's like, all right, we're going home. Like, dang it.
It's a super sweet game. It's a super sweet game. They also just released there's an expansion to it, and they've also released a legacy version. And legacy games you play through one time essentially.
Okay.
But obviously they spend a lot more time on the story. I've not played the legacy version, but it's a great game. It's best with like 5 people. That's like the perfect number.
Interesting. Yeah, I saw the legacy version. I did not get that one though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. What's next on your list?
Mine is just briefly talked about this one. Is it Ascension Dreamscape? I've been playing Ascension for a long time. I got off for years, then hopped back on and started playing random ones, and then I started playing the one called Dreamscape. I play by itself, and that's it. And it is the most fun and interesting time I've had playing Ascension. Ascension Dreamscape is different because not only do you have your little like runes or mana you can buy stuff with, then you have like your fight that you can kill monsters with. You also have a different currency called Insight, which are basically like little eggs, and you can buy certain cards with Insight. And these cards you draft at the beginning of the game. Basically, you get 5 face down cards. They all cost Insight. You pick 3 of them and you put them face down away from your opponent. Your opponent does the same thing. You can look at them at any time, and anytime you have enough Insight, you can buy those cards from your Dreamscape zone. And you can add cards to your Dreamscape zone by killing monsters or cards that let you do it. And it's just sweet being able to like have your own buy zone that your opponent has that can't really interact with. Like there's some ways to interact with it, but I think it's just like there's one monster that lets you like steal a Dreamscape card at random from each opponent's Dreamscape, but otherwise it's pretty hard to interact with. And I like the option of like having to work towards something that your opponent can't like banish or get before you. So that feels good.
Yeah, I like the like deck building games traditionally don't have a lot of hit information other than like your hand, but your hand's always brief, like because you just have your hand for a turn and then it changes.
Yeah.
So adding the element of hidden information, I think, like really adds a significant amount to this game. And
yeah, and the cards in the Dreamscape, some are cards that can go into your deck, like Constructor's action card, or like instant sorceries. But other ones they're called Dream Visions, which basically are one-time effects that happen immediately. There's like one that destroys all your opponent's constructs. There's one that makes everyone discard their hand and draw a new hand, which is fantastic for you because you basically get 10 cards.
Yeah, that card's pretty messed up.
Yeah, there's another one that like said lets you exile or void 5 cards in your hand or discard pile. There's one that lets you take all the constructs in the center row and put them in and acquire them. There's one that like gets you 10 honor automatically, and anytime you kill a creature, you can double its honor once per turn. But it costs a ton of Insight, but you can get it for free if you kill 3 monsters in the same turn. Like some of them have like very powerful effects that cost a ton of Insight, but you can acquire them for 0 if you like do a special action, which is kind of cool because your opponent can like maybe can guess you're working towards it, but can't be sure. There's been times where like people aggressively buy Enlightened Heroes because there's one that like if you play 2 Enlightened Heroes of the same name, you can get the card for free. So you can like if Justin were to buy a card, and then aggressively, I'm like, if I see the other copy of it, I might want to buy it just so in case he has a card in his Dreamscape, he won't get it for free. It's just kind of cool. They can like kind of do that.
Yep. There's a lot of play and counterplay to this expansion in particular, and I think this is like honestly, I've also played Extension for probably 10 years now, and I think this is the best expansion. And the great thing is you don't have to have other Ascension expansions, and I would even go a step further to say is not only do you not have to, I would say you should not, because the cards are just work really well in isolation.
They do, yeah.
Yeah.
I did
really
recently just buy there's two other expansions that use Insight. Delirium was a flop, I think, with Dreamscape, but there's another one called Deliverance, which I just recently bought. Then would try with Dreamscape as well, but we'll see if it's good or not. But for sure, Ascension Dreamscape just by itself has been phenomenal for me.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm on board. You sold me on this one.
All right.
Next on your list.
Next one is Spyfall. It's a game you basically download on your phone. There's a spy amongst you, and they're trying to figure out where you are, and then you're trying to figure out who the spy is by asking each other questions like, "Hey, what are you wearing? How does the ground feel? What does the sky look like? How late are you open?" Or whatever. Like yes or no questions. And the spy is trying to figure out where everyone is. They have no idea where they are, while the detectives know where they are, and they're trying to figure out if other people know where they are without giving the spy too much information.
Because if the spy can figure out where you are, then
you all die.
Yeah, or it becomes impossible to find the spy.
Yes.
Essentially.
Yep. It's a pretty cool game.
I had someone play this and gave everyone spy cards.
Why?
For madness.
Oh man.
And it was just a bunch of BS. It didn't take us that long to figure it out because no one was saying anything that made sense. But also no one was accusing each other of anything because everyone was like kind of on eggshells. And it was just like, it was funny, and I think you only do it once. It was definitely a good, it was probably 5-10 minutes. Before someone figured out wait, no, they're like, okay, this other person has no clue what they're talking about, but I'm the spy. So what is going on?
That's weird. Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, that's good. So give that a shot if you play this game.
The last one for me is called Exit. It's a one-time, you buy it for, with a box, and you basically, it's like an exit strategy game, or where you try to solve the puzzle or whatever it is. But this thing is one-time use, so you have to use the box, the back of the box, inside the box. You have to tear pages out of the book, fold them certain ways, hold them to the light, to basically get the clues you need. So basically, you tear up the product in the process. It's a one-time use, but it's kind of cool. Obviously, you can't play this too much because it costs money every time you do it, but it's just something different. I would recommend trying it one time and see if you like it or not, and then from there you can, go wherever you want. I think it's worth it just to try once at least, but it's interesting. It's like an escape room type deal, but it's not always an escape room. It can be like, you are on an island, and you're trying to open the treasure chest that's cursed or whatever. You have to uncurse it. And each step leads you to a different step. If you go the wrong way, it tells you to go the wrong way, or you die. So it's kind of cool.
Okay. That one I've never played. That one I have not played. So it's kind of like a legacy game in the sense that you're...
It definitely is. Yeah, you could not replay this. It's you are destroying the product.
Okay.
Well, because we had to tear the pages out, roll it up, and then there was a ruler in the box. You had to actually tear the box apart. Get the ruler out. It was hidden in the box. Jeez. It was kind of cool. It was kind of cool, but it's at the same time, it's you are destroying the product.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, all right. So that's the end of your list. My list is also, I have also 4 games. So kind of on the same token, I guess I'll jump off of your legacy game experience. The game that I've played in the last year that I think is the best, is my favorite game, is the game Time Stories. I've talked about this a little bit on this show before, but I haven't gone into full detail. Time Stories is it's a legacy game. You only have one playthrough essentially per expansion, and it's a game that sets you up as an essentially like a time agent from the future that is going back in time to try to solve mysteries or stop something from happening, but you don't have all the information, so you need to find out. And they've set up the game so all the mechanics are the same, but you can go through and be in all these different settings. The first setting, you go back to like the 60s in an insane asylum. The second setting, you go back to like the 90s and you're trying to find like this missing girl. And the way these games are constructed are brilliant. Like, we've only done 2 expansions so far. We're getting ready to do our 3rd one soon. And you can only do 1 playthrough, because if you do more than that, well, I'll put an asterisk beside that. You usually only do 1 playthrough, but the experience is so rich. The story is so good, and it's so difficult. Like, this is a hard game. Like, it took us, you basically like, one of the big mechanics is time. So every action that your team takes is time related. And then when you run out of time, you have to start over. But of course, you can use your memory to kind of pick back up where you left off or get back to the point where you know how to go through a certain sequence, right?
Yeah.
But there's lots of twists and turns, like just a ton. And it's just like the puzzles are really hard and a lot of the stuff is really unexpected. And the game is a blast. It's incredibly well done. Like, it's so good. And I put an asterisk on it because even though I don't think you can go back through and play it honestly, I would love, after I had played through an expansion, I would love to watch another team go back and play through for their first time. Like, okay. I would get as much enjoyment out of that as I did playing it, especially when you know everything that's happened.
That's super interesting.
Yeah, it's called Time Stories. Capital T, capital I, capital N, capital E, M, capital E Stories. It's a blast. Super fun game. Next one on my list is it's a version of a game, kind of like on your Ascension. It's just a specific version of a game of Pandemic. And Pandemic's a game that's been around for a long time. It's a co-op game. You're essentially like medical professionals that are trying to stop the outbreak and spread of diseases. And this is, if you go on Board Game Geek, these are Pandemic is and the expansions are traditionally very highly rated. And the reason for that is they're a lot of fun, but they're also incredibly hard. Like, I don't know what the success rate is, but I've played this game like 10 times and I've won like once.
Okay.
That's
interesting.
It's so hard. And it's full co-op, and you have to be because it's like brutal. But it's so much fun because like it's the most rewarding experience when you win, or when you even get close to winning. But it's great. And it's very difficult for games to pull that off and be like, yeah, sorry, you're probably not going to win, but if you want to keep going back for more and keep playing, that's like I don't know, that's like impossible. And the Iberia expansion, instead of present day, it takes you back to like the Middle East in like the 1800s. Yeah. Or I guess like the late 1800s. So you don't have, maybe it's probably somewhere time in the 1900s, but you don't have like planes or anything. So I think you can build trains. So whenever trains was a thing, I don't know when that was. But you could like build train tracks to go across the continent. And there's 4 different types of diseases, and they all have like a special thing. Like one of them spreads worse if it's near water, like it's like water based. So if you're on like a coastal city, it spreads worse. One like doubles if another infected city touches it. And it's a lot of fun. You're kind of just going around, and all of the different characters, you pick a team of characters, like one for each player, and you go, and every character has their own special attributes. So like one is like, let's say one's the like the field nurse, and then one's like the railway specialist. So he's good at like essentially making travel easy. Then you have the sailor, who's good for making travel easy for people to go around the continent rather than in the continent. Then you have like the scientist that's developing like vaccinations and all this type of stuff. It's a super fun game. I definitely recommend it. It will test your friendships though, because you all have to be on the same page, but you can't and you can't disagree. Like you can disagree, but you're going to lose immediately. Like you almost have to pick a plan and go with it, and then kind of commit to the plan, because you don't have time to change your plan halfway through the game. You just have to start over in the best way possible.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. Super fun game. The next one is a game called Mysterium. And this is a game that primarily doesn't have text. It's all like pictures. And it's essentially like Clue with pictures. And one player plays a ghost that is trying to give you clues through pictures, and you're trying to figure out who committed a crime in what room using what weapon. Only communicating through pictures, like association pictures. So
that's interesting. That sounds fun.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, and it's really well done. Like one of my favorite things about this game is the components are really nice. Like the pictures are really nicely done. All the little pieces are nice. So that one's a lot of fun. That one's co-op too. I don't think it has quite the replay ability of Iberia, because it's not like blisteringly difficult, but it's still a good one. And then my last one is a game that I was trying to play with you, but we just never had time when you were here last, which is
last two times actually.
Last two times, which is The Reckoners. So this is a game based on the Brandon Sanderson novels Steelheart, which are young adult novels. You've actually read those, right?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. So this is also a co-op game that's extremely difficult, and it's apparently like super flavorful. My partner Meredith has also read those and is like, thinks that they're just like, they pretty much nailed everything. You're basically playing a team of superpowered people that are going around and trying to defeat superpowered supervillains called epics to finally get to their like the big bad guy called Steelheart. Some of them you can't beat with force. Some of them you have to like research down to find what their weakness is, and then you can fight them. And they all are like wreaking havoc on the city that you're in, which is Chicago, called New Chicago, like over the course of the game. And this is also a co-op game that's also super difficult.
Yeah, but the story itself is also kind of cool. Basically, if you're an epic, if you have powers, if you're gifted powers, the more you use your powers, the more it corrupts you. And some epics have like two different powers, and the higher ranked you are, like the less weaknesses you have. But if you're an epic, you always have at least one weakness. Some have multiples. But yeah, it's pretty cool. And they can be super obscure weaknesses, or just like I'm weak to water versus I'm weak to someone who is confident or not scared of me. So okay. It's kind of cool.
That is cool.
Is the same way in the story?
In the game, it's not quite that specific. It's not quite that specific. But with the mechanics of the game, they do a pretty good job of like, some take a lot more research, some take less, and more like firepower, and you have to more manage them than beat them. Okay.
Interesting.
And the best thing about this game is the components are like basically like top of the line. All of the game is used in like game trays, but they all come with the game, and they all the pieces fit super nicely in all the game trays, and all the dice and like physical components are all super nice plastic, and the version I got actually are metal instead of plastic. And it's not a cheap game. This is definitely like the over $100 range, but
oh dang, okay.
But you I mean, like, once you play with it, you can see where all of the money went, because the components are like the best possible components, like in any game that you could have. They're all like A+ tier. So All right. Director Chase picks are Codenames, both Duet and Harry Potter. I've played Code Games. We personally have the regular Code Games and the Marvel Code Games. And Codenames is just a fun game where you're playing on teams and you're essentially using words to, it's like word association. You're trying to use words to get people to select words on a grid. He also said the Harry Potter deck building game and Gloomhaven, which is another big box board game with nice components, also like over $100, which I've not had a chance to play, but I really want to. And he said he bought it, so I'm just going to play his copy. It's way cheaper than me buying it.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
All right. So that's board games. That's kind of our board game update of ones that we haven't talked about since last time. Of these, I would say the ones that I recommend the most are Betrayal at the House on the Hill and Pandemic. I think they're going to give you the most bang for your buck as far as like replayability and just overall like enjoyment for a large audience, especially for Magic players. Both of those are good problem solving games.
Yeah, I'd like to play Betrayal again, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Super fun.
I agree.
All right. Okay, that's the show for this week, guys. We want to remind you that next week, everyone but Ali is going to be watching Happy Death Day to You since he already watched it. But we all need to watch it. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to come back and for sure talk about that topic next week. Anything else on board games, Ali?
No, that's it.
Sick. All right. In that case, that's the show. We'll be back in just a minute with Question of the Week.
Question of the week.
Question of the week. All right, so let's stick with our Ravnica theme, right?
Yep.
So it's Valentine's Day for people that celebrate that holiday. But even if you don't, obviously you know someone that does. So if let's say you're on Ravnica and I was setting you up on a blind date. If you could choose, which guild would you hope that your blind date is from?
I think this is kind of obvious if you know me. I think you'd probably agree too. I think I'd pick Rakdos.
You would.
I like the uniqueness that Rakdos is, while also being like quirky, but definitely very like powerful or strong. If that makes any sense. Also, Rakdos probably means like tattoos or some sort of body piercing, little more on the wild side, but not like Gruul wild side. Just like more outside the box per se.
Okay.
And that's what I think would fit me, or it's what I'm definitely attracted to more, or I've noticed. So that's what I would hope for, would be Rakdos. And yeah, hopefully. The problem is I might get run into a Dimir and they get tricked.
That's true. All right. So my choice, this one was actually pretty tough for me. But I'm going to go with Boros.
Okay.
And my reason for Boros is I do want someone that has strong feelings about stuff. Like I don't want someone that's just completely passive. Right? So if we're going on a blind date, I want to know what their opinions are on stuff. It's like, all right, well, I say we do this. They're just like, it's fine.
Yeah, that's
we'll do that.
It's definitely Selesnya.
Yeah, so I'm not super into that. I want to hear your opinion, and I want someone that appreciates order. because I appreciate order a lot.
Yeah, but not like you. You don't want to. You also it'd be impossible to date yourself.
Yeah, that's
Azorius.
Just
exactly.
That's Azorius.
Yes.
Exactly. So I want the red instead of the blue to offset that.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah. So someone that's passionate about things, but also cares about order and is not afraid to speak their mind.
Yeah, to basically push back at you, not
aggressively,
in a negative way. Yeah, not negatively, but also but if they feel strong about something, to speak it instead of just shut down.
Yep. Yeah. So I'm gonna go with Boros.
I agree with that. I like that I like that for your choice.
Makes sense for me. Yeah. All right. So
Yeah.
I think yours is good too. I think that's definitely I think it's interesting.
I think it's, I don't know if it's good, but it is what I'm.
It's true.
I know
it
is exactly. It is. I 100% sure. 100% it is what I am drawn to.
Yeah, for sure.
100%. As far as is it like good for me? Maybe I'll find a good Rakdos.
Maybe,
but we'll see.
I
don't know.
I think it's interesting that we both ended up with a red guild.
Passionate, man. Passion.
Maybe. And I think we're
passion and emotion.
Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. Question of the week. If you had to go on a blind date with a Ravnican, which guild would you hope they'd be from? Ollie says Rakdos, I say Boros. Ollie, where can people find you on the internet?
Find me on twitter.com/Ali Aintrazi, twitch.tv/Ali Aintrazi. Cool stuff. Articles come out every Wednesday and Friday. Cool stuff is, you can Google cool stuff on YouTube, or you can go to the cool stuff website, and you can find my stream highlights on Thinktwice MTG YouTube.
Awesome. You can find me at jparnell1 on Twitter, and of course on Star City Games and YouTube on Commander Versus, as well as twitch.tv/SCG Tour, 5 o'clock every Wednesday. And that's a great time because Ollie won't be streaming at 5 o'clock on Wednesdays. That's on a streaming day for him, so come over to the SCG Tour channel and check us out doing Commander Versus live. If you want to contact the show, you can do so. ThinkTwiceMTG on Twitter, and of course, ThinkTwiceMTG@gmail.com. If you want to find the show, SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and Spotify. Leave us a review, a like, a comment, and a share. All of that stuff is super helpful. And of course, you can subscribe to all of those channels, as well as youtube.com/ThinkTwiceMTG. We have Ollie's stream highlights on YouTube. We have the show. We have Journey of Discovery, which is the free-to-play series that I do. And if you want to support the show even further than that, go to patreon.com/ThinkTwiceMTG. We have a lot of rewards tiers right now, including our $1 Augur Bolus tier, gets you early access to the show, gets you access to our Discord channel, and gets you a set of Ollie and Justin Think Twice tokens. And we might be changing some Patreon stuff sometime in the near future, but we're still working on it and trying to get it calibrated so everything makes sense for you guys and what you guys want to do. So if you have any feedback for that, hit us up. Let us know any way that you can. We're always listening, even if it doesn't look like we're making immediate changes. I promise we're listening. So we do have a couple animal pictures of the week from our Think Twice Discord and the Animal Lovers channel.
I'm picking Laverne. The angle is perfect and precious.
It's a real close up.
Real close up of the guinea pig. And I don't know how to explain it. It's Neil's guinea pig. It's just like it's adorable. It's adorable.
It's a great picture. Steele might not agree. This is a great picture, but we all know that it is. No, this is one of those felt cute, might delete later.
Yeah,
pictures, right? If an animal is doing it. Yeah.
It's adorable.
All right, I'm picking Elvis, which is Severo's bee, little snaky boy. It's just little Elvis the snake and a bunch of wood shavings, and then realizing, just with his little head and tongue coming out, and then realizing there's food in the second picture. Yeah.
Yep. He has his tongue smelling with his tongue, whatever. Yeah.
Yes, as little snakes do. Yeah. So both good pictures. So Elvis and Laverne. Nice job on the animal pictures of the week. All right, we want to give a special thanks to our Agent of Bolus producers, Daniel Hunt and Matt Lundell. Thank you guys very much for your support. And of course, our director and producer, John Choi. We do rely on him Although he ultimately, you know, Ollie, at the end of the day, I think it is his fault that you watched the wrong movie last week. Yeah, I've really thought about it, and
I don't want to go. I can't do that. I can't do that. I'm taking blame for it. It's my fault.
You're not going into the it's
No,
John's fault.
I can't do it.
All right.
No, because this one is definitely my fault.
Okay.
I don't blame it.
All right. Speaking of which, we're all going to watch the movie that Ollie already watched, which is Happy Death Day to You next week. We'll talk about that. It does. I will say, it might look a little cheesy, but it looks fun. So I'm in for it. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything.
Don't say anything. You've already seen it. First one in the theater. Ollie was the first one in America to see this movie, so he's
probably
how
the world,
how
honestly.
excited he is.
I mean, I watched it super early.
You sure did.
Yeah.
All right. That's it for this week, guys. Thanks for listening. Catch you next time.
Bye.